It's almost 2:30 in the morning. It's 2:25 right now. But I want to bless y'all with a little song here. Watch this. There's a leak in this old building, and my soul has got to move. Said my soul's got to move. Oh, my soul has got to move. There's a leak in this old building, and my soul has got to move to a building that's been made by the hands of God. Yeah. Peace, y'all. Enjoy this episode. Hello, and welcome back to another episode of Maddie's Rap, the show where we rap about things that guys rap about when we're hanging out. Now, if you guys watch that intro, you know that I do a little singing on the side here. You probably saw it through some of my other videos. But anyway, I feel like that song is relevant because there is a leak in the building. There's a leak in this old building, okay? But because of this lockdown, my soul can't necessarily move right now. But it's gonna move as soon as they lift these movement restrictions, and we can get back to doing the things that we want to do. I can't say get back to doing the things that we were doing because, you know, if you were around in the days, if you're old enough to remember 9/11 and the planes crashing into the towers, you know that when freedoms are stripped, they're never returned. Okay, that I should say when man strips your freedoms, they're never returned. Now, if the Most High strips your freedoms, He's trying to teach you a lesson and punish you, and then He gives you back. When you learn your lesson, He gives you back what you had, and then double on top of that. Okay, that's one of the things I love about the Most High. Some of you call God. Some of my brothers and sisters call Yah, Yahuwah. My brothers and sisters in Jamaica call him Mighty Jah. Okay, Mighty Jah. All right, so that's what I love about Him. If He takes away some freedoms from you, He's taking them away temporarily, but He's going to give you back what He took away and then give you back some on top of that. Don't believe me? Read the book of Job. Now, today, listen, I just wanted to follow up and talk about this Corona thing. Corona. And I wish I was talking about the Corona beer, but I'm not. It's not that trivial, okay? Man, listen, we got a lot of stuff happening out here today. It's just, here's what I want to do. I want to talk about this from the prophetic standpoint. And when I say prophetic, I'm talking prophecy. You guys know that at the beginning of this year, I said that most of my Maddie's Rap episodes would be pretty much dealing with scripture. And right now, I think we're in the season of prophecy. For those of you who have not done it, I would challenge you to read from the book of Daniel, chapter 2, and check out that dream that Nebuchadnezzar had a few thousand years ago, and look at Daniel's interpretation of it. Because in that dream and the interpretation, there were 4 kingdoms that ruled in the earth. And that fourth and last kingdom, I believe, is this current, I'm going to call it American Empire, American/British Empire, Western Empire that we see today. If you look at America in particular, it said that the dream says, hey, in as much as the toes were part iron and part clay, the people of this kingdom would not mix. You know, they would not blend together. Clay and iron don't mix together. Well, that is so representative of the people, because the dream, and I'm not reading it right now. I could pull it up. I mean, I got the Bible app right here in front of me. Why not pull it up, right? Let's go ahead and pull it up. But while I'm pulling it up, as I recall it, why is my tablet acting so funky today, y'all? I got to go back in here and do this over. Okay, I just shut the app down and restarted it, and now it seems to be behaving. Let's go. That's Ezekiel, not Daniel. Let's get back in Daniel here. And by the way, guys, I'm going to be dealing with a lot of prophecy and a lot of breaking down the Messiah's parables for you guys. So stay with me. If you haven't already, please subscribe to this channel and hit the notification bell so you'll be notified when I upload a new video. Because listen, we're in some interesting waters right now, but where we are in this time slice is where we have to be, and it is where it was recorded. Now, anybody who's a writer knows that writing is funny, because within a book you have a time capsule or an encapsulation of time, whether it is a historical book or a memoir or something that actually happened, or if it's a fiction or fantasy book where this was a concept of an artist's dream. Okay, and some people say that life's a dream, right? So what if this is a giant dream of the creator? We don't know. But the point I'm making is, within a book, you have a time capsule, and the time that proceeds from the beginning of that book to the end. In the time that proceeds from the beginning of that book to the end, everything that's written has to happen, and is going to happen. Okay, the author knows what happens in that story. The reader does not know until they encounter it, unless a prophet or somebody who read the book, a prophet, comes and tells them what happens, and then they watch it play out. So what we're seeing playing out in the world stage are things that were written who knows how long ago. Things that were written. Now let's get back in Daniel chapter 2. It said, let's see, feet, okay? This is chapter 2 of Daniel. This is verse 43. Verse 42. I'm jumping in at, or verse 41. Let's go in 41. Let's see. Well, let's go to 40. And the fourth kingdom shall be strong as iron. Now I'm jumping ahead, so you guys are going to have to read this Daniel chapter 2 for yourself in whatever version of the Bible you prefer. This is the King James version. Daniel chapter 2, starting at verse 40. And the fourth kingdom shall be strong as iron, for as much as iron breaketh in pieces and subdueth all things, and as iron that breaketh all these, so shall it break in pieces and bruise. And whereas thou sawest the feet and toes, part of potter's clay and part of iron, the kingdom shall be divided. But there shall be in it the strength of iron, for as much as thou sawest the iron mixed with miry clay. And as the toes of the feet were part of iron and part of clay, so shall the kingdom be partly strong and partly broken. And whereas thou sawest iron mixed with miry clay, they shall mingle themselves with the seed of men, but they shall not cleave one to another, even as iron is not mixed with clay. All right. Now here's the kicker, verse 44. Well, let's go back to those. Does that not sound like America to you right now? I mean, within America, we have the strength of iron. You don't believe it? Watch our troops go out for whatever they need to go get deployed for. We have the strength of iron within this country. But when you come back home, what's funny is those troops fight together, and they're from all different types of backgrounds that you find in the infantry, in all branches of the service. You find people from all different walks of life and all different types of ethnic backgrounds and mixes. And they fight together well. They fight well. They typically have good battlefield leadership and good battlefield execution. But when they come back home, they come back to a country that is divided in the sense of this person is that. Oh, he's black. He's Mexican. He's white. He's Chinese. He's Asian. Whatever. Okay, he's Arab. He's Muslim. Whatever. That is the toes that are part iron and part clay. They don't mix. They don't mix. And I'm not saying that I'm reading it as it is. I'm not saying that I want it to be that way. I wish it weren't that way. But these same people that have the strength of iron in them that gets displayed, whether it's world games or whether it is war, heaven forbid, the strength of iron shows up. But when they come back home, you see how much iron and clay don't mix, because people who don't consciously make the effort to treat people like people, which I'm one of those people myself, and I know most of my friends don't care what you look like. They treat you like people. They treat you with the respect that you command as a person. Okay, not demand, but command. Your personality commands a certain level of respect, and you're treated with such. Those are my friends. But is that America as a whole? We know that's not. We know that couldn't be further from the truth. So that's why I feel like this last kingdom that is spoken of in Daniel chapter 2 is talking about America. Now here's the kicker, verse 44. And this is how it plays into what's happening today, I believe. And in the days of these kings shall the God of heaven set up a kingdom which shall never be destroyed. And the kingdom shall not be left to other people, but it shall break in pieces and consume all these kingdoms, and it shall stand forever. For as much as thou sawest that the stone was cut out of the mountain with hands, this happened earlier, and that it break in pieces the iron, the brass, the clay, the silver, and the gold, the great God hath made known to the king what shall come to pass hereafter, and that the dream is certain, and the interpretation thereof sure. So basically, what happens in this dream is that a mountain comes and destroys this giant that represents all these kingdoms, and it establishes itself, that mountain. Now, you know that in prophecy, there's some prophecy concerning Mount Zion over in the land of Israel now, with regards to what will be set up there. These are interesting prophetic times that we're living in. If you're a believer, if you're a non-believer, then I'm speaking gibberish to you. But I got to tell you that, in my opinion, everything that's happening right now is the beginning. We're in spiritual warfare right now. Think about this. We are seeing millions of people around the world being controlled spiritually. Now, if you read my book, From Fear to Faith, The Survivor Story, you know that I say that there are two spiritual channels into man, the eyes and the ears. So you have that television set, okay, broadly casting a means of control, a method of control, a spell, if you will, of control. People are controlled by what the talking heads on the television say, by what comes through the radio waves, the airwaves, okay? Someone shows you an image of something happening in a land far away and then tells you that it's in your land, and here's what you need to do. You don't even need to see proof of its existence in your land. You got people doing exactly what that television said to do. Now, I'm not here to argue about the validity of what is going on with regards to a pandemic or anything like that. I'm here to simply illustrate how the two spiritual channels into man can control man if you allow it to. So you're being controlled by what you see and what you hear right now. People, you tell people, but see, here's what I want to say. And this is about the whole toilet paper thing and other stuff, that these resources that you're seeing going scarce right now. I get it. Maybe some people saw in advance that there was going to be a lockdown coming and they wanted to make sure they had enough toilet paper, whatever. But let me explain something to you, and let me explain to you how life and the universe, the world, how the air works, okay? When you have a spirit of abundance, your attitude is, I have what I need, okay? And you will never lack. You will never lack. But when you have a spirit of scarcity, what you begin to do is you begin to grab and hoard. You hoard more than you can use. You hoard more than you can hold. Within the earth, there is abundance. There is more earth than there are people. There's more water than there are people, okay? But when you have a spirit of lack, then all you see is lack. All you see is scarcity, and you behave as such. When you have a spirit of abundance, you always have. Let me share something with you. I grew up poor. I grew up in a two-parent household, but we had the same number of bedrooms that we had parents, 2, and there were 6 children. We lived in a 2-bedroom triplex in Long Beach, New York, and the heat didn't work very well in the winter, okay? So we were cold. My parents were on welfare. My dad worked, but we also got supplemental government assistance. But you know something? I'm going to tell you something. As poor as I've been as a kid or at different times in my life, I had never, ever doubted whether or not I was going to eat. You know why? Because it was taught to me when I was a child that the word of God or the word of Yah or the word of Jah, however you want to look at it, in his word, he said, well, I take care of the birds of the air and they don't go lacking. So how much more am I not going to take care of you? So when I heard that as a little boy, I understood it. And you know what? Let me tell you something. There were nights when all we had to eat was flour mixed with water and dropped on a hot cast iron skillet with some Crisco shortening on it. And whatever my mom could scrape up to put on it. If there was some butter, we were lucky. If there was a little bit of syrup or honey, we were lucky. And there were times when that was dinner. There were times when all we had was white rice with ketchup mixed in it for dinner. You can ask any one of my brothers, they'll tell you that. You can ask my mother, she'll tell you that. Ask my dad, he'll tell you that. But you know what? Never in my life have I ever felt like I wasn't going to have something to eat. So my point is, and I've always eaten. It may not have always been what I wanted, but it was always what I needed. So the point I'm making is, when you have a spirit of abundance, you're always when you see abundance, you'll have abundance. When you see scarcity is how you're going to behave. You're going to behave as such. So the point I'm making is, it is up to you how you want to behave in this season that we're in. We're in a season of change. We can't go back to the America or the world even that we had even in 2019. And we're only 3 months in. That world is gone. Whether you realize it or not, that world is gone. Some of you think it's coming back. Oh, look, case in point, they're saying they said they were going to do a two-week nationwide lockdown or whatever until this whole thing is under control. But who's to say they won't further it out past that? You see what I'm saying? So this is a different day and time. Now, do I think that whole thing is going to end? I think it does have an end. And I think the end, I'm getting a little bit lyrical or a little bit, what's the word? Not lyrical, but literary. This whole thing of the ends justifying, the means justifying the end, or the end justifying the means, or whatever. That's funny. That's an argument for another day. But I think that this whole thing is going to change and has changed life as we know it. But you can choose to be a conformist to this idea of scarcity, or you can be a nonconformist and see abundance and understand that this, and I'm going to do a separate video talking about Bill Gates and what he's doing with his foundation, with this, there's too many people in the world, and human beings are the biggest contributors to global warming and all of this stuff, and greenhouse gases and all of this. I'll do a whole nother video on that. Let me tell you something, and I'm going to wrap this video up here. There are not more people in the world than there is food, and there never will be. Okay? There is not more people in the world than there is land to support them, and there never will be. That is the biggest lie ever told. If you don't believe me, ask a farmer. If you don't believe me, take one seed and plant it. Take one apple seed and plant it in some fertile ground, a single seed. And in years, you will have an entire orchard. You will have an entire orchard. You know why? Because that one seed will grow a tree that will yield how much fruit? And within the average apple, how many apple seeds are there? Okay? So how many more trees can be grown off that? It's the same thing. I planted cucumbers, I planted tomatoes, whatever. A single seed can yield 50 tomatoes on a vine, 50 cucumbers on a vine. How many seeds are in that cucumber? You know how long it would take you to count them once you separated them? You know how long it would take you to separate them, dry them, and count them? That's my point. If land is fertile, now, can humans, can mankind affect their environment? Absolutely. But you have to understand that the earth itself is a living organism. Don't believe it? Drop a seed in the ground and watch it grow. The earth itself is a living organism. So in the same token that you have a immune system that fights off an overabundance of unhealthy bacteria, or it fights off invaders, things that don't belong there, guess what? The earth has the same ability. Okay? So if mankind is too unkind to its environment, the earth will take care of that. The earth will cry out. It will cry out to the heavens. Guess what the heavens will do? The heavens will send a wind. It'll send storms. It'll do something to remove the offenders. The earth itself is a living organism with its own immune system. So I do not buy into this lie that there is lack in the earth and that there's too many people. There will never ever be more people than the earth can support. You know why? Because that would mean that he who created the earth had a flawed design. And I don't believe that. He created more than enough. He always gives you more than enough. And then he watches you to see if you're going to have a spirit of abundance and share, or if you're going to hoard. Man, I'm going to wrap this episode up. Listen, shout out to a couple of YouTube channels I want you guys to follow. I get a lot of wisdom. I get a lot of knowledge from following these people. These are 5 of my favorite YouTubers. Okay, in no particular order. The Hebrews to Negroes channel, aka Moses Levi, the title is channeled. The channel is titled. That's Ronald Dalton Jr. Check him out. Check out his work. Check out his movies, his books. Benea Israel. That's another channel I follow. Check out his Hidden Hebrews movies. Mumbi Saraki, the Dr. Mumbi show. She's also got the Dr. Mumbi live show. I get a lot of information and news out of Africa as well as across the diaspora. And of course, some of my other favorites, David Icke, smooth older cat out of the UK. knowledgeable. I love David Icke. I love his videos. I love his perspective. Do I agree with 100% of the stuff he says? No. But I agree with probably 90, 95% of it. So David Icke's another one. Richie from Boston. Let me tell you something. I've never met him, but that has got to be one of the most sincere hearts and souls I've ever seen. He's passionate about trying to help people. Okay, Richie from Boston. Check Richie from Boston out. Richie from Boston is beast mode. If you like following the news, you like following mainstream news, then guess what? There's another person that you need to follow to get the other side of it, because there's two sides to every coin. Kim Iverson. Kim Iverson is the bomb. Check out Kim Iverson's YouTube channel. She's another one I subscribe to. That was 6 channels. I know I said I'd give you guys 5. That was 6. Those are 6 of my favorite YouTubers. Check them out. Of course, I do sports and stuff too. I love, there's a couple of YouTubers I follow for sports. There's some I follow for comedy, other stuff like that. Listen, there's some I follow for technology. If you like tech, you want to get the latest tech review, check out my man Flossie Carter. And here's my best Flossie Carter impersonation. Yo, what's up everybody? It's your man Floss, back again with another video. And today, we're looking at the iPhone 16. Kidding, there's no iPhone 16. But if there is one, he's going to cover it. All right. So I get my tech reviews from Flossie Carter. Shout out to Flossie Carter if you're watching this video. Listen, guys, I'm going to wrap it up here. If you haven't done so already, give this video a thumbs up. If you don't like it and you want to give it a thumbs down, do your thing. Explain it. At least tell me why you're giving it a thumbs down. If you're going to give it a thumbs down, whatever. But give it a thumbs up if you like it. Leave a comment. If you haven't done so, subscribe to the channel. Hit the notification bell so you'll be notified when I do another upload. Share this video with your friends. Let's have a commentary around it. Maddie's Rap. Yo, listen, we're taking the cuffs off. We're taking the cuffs off. We're taking the gloves off. We're in a different season now. We're in a different season. And listen, we're in the spiritual season now. This age has evolved. Something happened, I believe, with that 2017 North American reverse eclipse, you know, that moved across from west to east, something that really ain't supposed to happen. So I feel like something happened back then, and we're in this age of spirituality now. And listen, don't get left out by trying to hold on to a dying age, an age that's gone, an age that's behind you, an age that's not coming back. Don't get left behind. Get up on top, keep up on top of your game, get on top of your spirit game, drop fear. I ain't gonna say the word, but F fear, okay? You know my book, From Fear to Faith, the Survivor Story. It's time to move from fear of whatever it is to faith and confidence in whatever it is that you desire. That's what it's time for. Move away from the fear of the worst and have faith in your best outcome, okay? That's what From Fear to Faith is all about. Mindset. Be ye transformed by the renewing of your mind. Right there, boom. Be not conformed to this world, but be ye transformed by the renewing of your mind. Get this shirt. It's available at www.talfitarts.com. Look, for Maddie's Rap, this is a wrap. Peace.